Chapter 6, Lesson 2, Solving Inequalities by Multiplication and Division. Now, you did a lot of this in pre-algebra class, but we'll go back over it. So we're going to solve down here the example, negative 5y is less than or equal to 12. All right, so we need to remember that any time that you multiply or divide by a negative coefficient, you must flip the sign, flip the direction of the inequality symbol. If not, you just come up with the wrong answer. All right, so we have negative 5 multiplied by y. The only way to undo that is to divide by negative 5. You want to divide by negative 5 on the other side. All right, the 5's cancel out, so we're left with y. 12 divided by negative 5. Ooh, that's kind of ugly looking, but we'll leave it as, let's see, it goes in 2 and 2/5. It's going to be a negative there, but we need to flip that sign, so it's going to be greater than or equal to. All right, so there's your answer. Y is greater than or equal to negative 2 and 2/5. So you give me any number that's equal to or greater than that, and it will work. All right, on the bottom, we have another multiplication inequality. So to undo it, you must do the inverse, which is divide. So you divide by 3 and divide by 3. The 3's cancel out. You have a is less than or equal to negative 9. So any number less than or equal to negative 9 will work. Oh, number 2. Here's an interesting one. It's a fraction. You need to remember your multiplicative inverse. Many of you are like, oh, God, I hate that. But anyways, it's the easiest way to do it. We have negative 5/7 multiplied by s is less than negative 5/14. All I've done is rewritten the problem. All right, I'm going to take the fraction, flip it upside down. I get negative 7/5. I'm going to multiply by that on both sides. The whole idea is so that when you do that, you cancel out the ugly fraction. You take the signs, you're left with the variable s. So s is going to be less than, on the right-hand side, 5 divided by 5. Cancels out. We have 7 divided by 14. That's 1/2. The negatives cancel out. All right. So at that point, we have a final answer. Because on top, we have 1 times 1 gives you 1. On the bottom, 2 times the 1 that's understood to be there is 2. The 2 negatives cancel out, like I said, so you have 1/2. So we have s is less than 1/2. That's your answer for the problem. Okay, moving on to number 2. Now we want to solve each of these inequalities. We've already done some multiplying ones, so we'll go on to number 3. Number 3 is the division one. We have r over 2 is less than 68. Okay, the inverse of division is multiplication, so we're going to multiply by 2 on both sides. The 2's cancel out. We're left with r is less than 136. So any number less than 136 would work. Okay, moving on to number 4. I'm going to bring it down here. I chose this one because it has a negative variable. And let's see if you remember what you're supposed to do. Think about what's the coefficient that really is in front of that d. It really means that there's a negative 1d. But you're in algebra, so you don't put the 1 there. All right, so how do I get rid of that negative 1? Well, you divide by negative 1, divide by negative 1. The problem is we divided by that negative 1. It all went away, but we have to flip that inequality sign. All right, so 59 divided by 1 is 59. And we have the opposite of positive is negative. There's your answer right there. Okay. Number 7. Interesting. Very similar to number 3. However, there's a negative in the denominator. We have n over negative 8 is, almost wrote the wrong sign, less than or equal to 9. All right, at this point, we want to get rid of that negative 8. That means we're going to multiply by negative 8 on both sides. The negative 8's cancel out. We have n on the right-hand side, negative 72, and on the right-hand side was negative 72. But remember, you need to flip that sign. There you go. All right, page 3. Not much difference here, just bigger problems, more involved. If we look at number 9, I love to do these type of problems because when you get into chemistry and physics, these are the type of problems you really want to look for. I'm going to have to move the problem down a little bit because the board's a little warped there. All right, so we got 75k over negative 4 is greater than 5/16. All right, I look where my variable is on the left-hand side, so I'm going to take that fraction and flip it and multiply it. So negative 4 over 75ths, negative 4 over 75ths. All right, so that all cancels out. I'm left with k. I multiplied by a negative, though, so I've got to flip that inequality. All right, here comes the real quick learning. We have on the right-hand side, we have the number 5 and the number 75. So we're going to simplify these. 5 goes into 75 how many times? It goes in once, and then 5 times goes in 15 times. 5 goes into 5 once. All right, so we simplified that already. The 4 and the 16, divide each by 4, we get 1/4. That's a 4. All right, so on the top we have 1 times 1. That gives us 1. On the bottom we have 4 times 15. That's 60. And we look at our signs. We have a negative times a positive. We get negative. So there's your answer. Okay, so now we'll look at number 12. I have f over 8 is greater than or equal to 1/10. All right, so f is being divided by 8. That means I need to multiply by 8 to get rid of it. All right, so 8 divided by 8 cancels out. F is greater than or equal to. I have 8 times 1. On top, that's 8 divided by 10. Now, obviously that is the answer. It's not the best answer. You want to simplify that. You can divide by 2. So you get 4/5. That's the best answer you can get for that. All right, moving on. All right, so now we want to define a variable, write the inequality, and solve it. So we'll take number 13. We have 5 times a number. So 5 times a number is at most. So that means it's less than or equal to 45. Very good. Now you can solve it. Number 14. I have 34 is at least. So 34 is at least. So that means greater than or equal to 1/2 of a number. The important piece here is the vocabulary piece in the translation. All right, if you have any questions and you're stuck with a problem, please make sure to see